looking at here is the 2019 piece. This is actually what last year's 2019 class took as their AP exam. Okay. Let's read our prompt. Carefully read the following excerpt from William Dean Howell's novel, The Rise of Silas Lapham. I can say then.
Yes.
Then write, because it says read, a well-constructed essay. Analyze. Then in a well-constructed essay, analyze how the author portrays the complex experience of two sisters, Penelope and Irene, within their family and society. There's that word again. They really like it, huh? Complex. So yesterday we were looking at the complex attitude that the narrator had towards Zenobia. Today we're looking at the complex experience of the two sisters. So what are we going to have to define for this essay? What their complex experience is, right? We're going to have to give qualifiers, those adjectives about what their experience is. Penelope and Irene within their family and society. So you're looking at their experience within their family and society. You may wish to consider such literary elements as style, tone, and selection of detail. Do you have to use those? No, but those are possibilities. So, if we are talking about the experience of two sisters, first off, from yesterday, what are some umbrella terms that we can use? Say it louder. Diction, right? If we're always choosing the word choice, and you know we pull out specific words. Diction, right? What else is something that's really easy? Selection of detail, right? Somebody said imagery. We have tone. You can talk about syntax, right? But be careful. Remember, don't just be like, the sentence is really long. You have to remember, just like what we worked with Heart of Darkness, we have to make sure that we are saying how that syntax affects the message, right? Get that message across. What else can we know that we can talk about? Well, figurative language is a good, overarching. And we can take a guess because it's two sisters. Possibly there is a comparison. Or juxtaposition. I heard you. Yay! Yeah, I'm a mom. I both hear everything and hear nothing. So it's my survival strategy. Okay. So let's take a look. Ready? I'm gonna go pretty fast. All right. They were not girls who embroidered or abandoned themselves to needlework. Wait a minute. This is 1885. Should they be girls who embroider and abandon themselves to needlework? Yeah. In 1885? Yes. Probably. So what do we know about them automatically? If it's written in 1885 and they're not this kind of girl, they're very upper class. Did you say weirdos? I just watched a miniseries on Amazon Prime. Oh my God, what was it called? But it's also a novel. It's by Edith Wharton. It's really good, and the sisters also broke gender stereotypes. I'm gonna find out what it is and link it for you guys because it was really good. I couldn't stop watching it. It was really good. You'd like it. Okay, we'll keep going. Irene spent her abundant leisure. Who doesn't want abundant leisure? In shopping for herself and her mother, of whom both daughters made kind of an idol, buying her caps and laces out of their pin money. And when we look down, pin money is money used for small, expensive, and incidentals. Like she gets like a little allowance, right? So we know Irene, she shops. Irene's all about that, that flash, right? So automatically we have our Kardashian sister. And getting her dresses far beyond her capacity to wear. She gets more dresses than she can wear. Nice problem to have. Irene dressed herself very stylishly and spent hours on her toilet every day. Okay. She's spending hours on her toilet every day. You're looking down to 2. Toilet, dressing, and grooming. Does not mean she has an intestinal problem. It means that she's always doing her makeup. Always doing her makeup. Again, supporting our idea that she's Kardashian's sister. Her sister. So here's Irene. Right? Her sister, what's the other sister's name? Penelope. How do we know that? Because it says it's up here. So her sister had a simpler taste, and if she had done altogether as she liked, might even have slighted dresses. Her sister wouldn't even wear dresses. 1885, that's pretty counterculture. They all 3. So we know Irene is into dresses. We know that Penelope she's not into like girly stuff. Alright. They all 3 took long naps every day and sat hours together minutely discussing what they saw out of the window. Kind of boring, huh? You don't have a TV back then. What are you going to do? You're in the house, you're stuck in the house. Your window is your TV. You take naps and you read. They don't like to sew, so they just watch everybody out the window. In her self-guided search for self-improvement, the elder sister, do we know which one that is yet? No. Let's keep watching. Went to many church lectures on a vast variety of secular subjects and usually came home with a comic amount of them. And that made more account of them, and that made more matter of talk for the whole family. So we know this elder sister, which we're still wondering who is that at this point of our reading, right? She attends lectures. So what's she interested in?
No.
For education, right? She could make fun of nearly everything. Irene complained that she scared away the young men whom they got acquainted with at dancing school sociables. Ah, do we know who the elder sister is now? Who is the elder sister? If Irene is complaining that she is scaring away men, then our older sister is Penelope. So how did I get that? She can make nearly fun of everything. Irene complained that she scared away the young men. The she scaring away the young men is that elder sister. And so if Irene is complaining, then we know Irene is the younger sister. So automatically we know the younger sister, Kardashian into looks, right? And our older sister, Penelope, into lectures, education, doesn't care about dresses. Also, Irene is worried about, like, distancing men. So, boy crazy. They were perhaps not the wisest young men. So, that tells you a little bit about Penelope, is that her education scares away not so smart young men. Which, again, not a bad problem to have. They can all go away. Alright. The girls had learned to dance at the Pontes, which if we look down here, it is a fashionable social dance school. So they had taken classes to dance. But they had not belonged to the private classes. They did not even know of them, and a great gulf divided them from those who did. Ooh. So they have money, but do they know all this special, like the in thing? No. So they have money. But I would say they're not elite. Because if they were elite, they would have taken the private classes. Their father did not like company, except such as came informally in their way, and their mother had remained too rustic to know how to attract in the sophisticated city fashion. None of them had grasped the idea of European travel. But they had gone about to mountain and seaside resorts, the mother and the two girls, where they witnessed the spectacle with such resorts present throughout New England, of multitudes of girls, lovely, accomplished, exquisitely dressed, humbly glad of the presence of any sort of young man. But the Laphams had no skill or courage to make themselves noticed, far less courted by the solitary invalid or clergyman or arch. So we see here, again, more support that they have money, but they're not elite. Right? They don't have company come over very often. Which in the old days, if you're rich, you spend your whole day like going and visiting people. And they don't have people visit because they're not into it. The dad doesn't like it, the mom's rustic. Do you know what I mean when somebody's rustic? Country. Old Town Road. Don't start singing it. So, and they're not going to Europe to go visit in Europe, but they are going to like New England and stuff. So they're going to like local resorts, but they're not traveling internationally. So they have money, but they're not elite. What does it mean for a woman at the time period if they're not attracting the right kind of man? Are they going to have the right kind of marriage? This starts to become a problem. So they lurked. So the girls lurked helplessly about in hotel parlors, looking on and not knowing how to put themselves forward. So I almost feel bad for them. They don't know how to exist in this wealthy society. They're trying, but they just don't fit in. Perhaps they did not care a great deal to do so. They had not a conceit of themselves, but a sort of content in their own ways that one may notice in certain families. So they were content in their own ways that one may not notice in certain families. So they are okay with being kept to themselves. So they're not trying to keep up with everybody. The very strength of their mutual affection was a barrier to worldly knowledge. They dressed for one another, they equipped their house for their own satisfaction, they lived richly to themselves, not because they were selfish, but because they did not know how to do otherwise. The elder daughter did not care for society, apparently. And again, this is Penelope. The younger, who was but 3 years younger, was not quite old enough to be ambitious of it. With all her wonderful beauty, she had an innocence almost vegetable. What's that mean? Her innocence was almost vegetable. I can see the memes right now. What does it mean to have an innocence almost vegetable?
Too pure?
Yeah. Like she's pure, but she's also like she just exists. That's what I think of when I think of somebody as being like a vegetable. Like she's just existing. She's not trying. Which, if you're part of society, you work hard at being part of society, and she's doesn't. When her beauty, which in its immaturity was crude and harsh, suddenly ripened, she bloomed and glowed with the unconsciousness of a flower. She not merely did not feel herself admired, but hardly knew herself discovered. So, you know that song, how's it go? Like, she's beautiful and she doesn't even know it. You know what I'm talking about? Like you're beautiful, and you're beautiful because you don't know you're beautiful, or
Yeah, that one.
Don't know what for.
That one.
yeah.
Oh, it makes you beautiful when you're interested.
So that's where she is. She doesn't know that she's beautiful, and that's part of what makes her beautiful because she's innocent of her beauty. If she dressed well, perhaps too well, it was because she had the instinct of her dress. So she's not dressing for anybody else, but till she met this young man who was so nice to her at Bay St. Joan, she had scarcely lived a detached individual life. So Holly had to depend on her mother and her sisters for opinions, almost for sensations. She took account of everything he did and said, pondering it, and trying to make out exactly what he meant to the inflection of a syllable, the slightest movement of a gesture. So before Mom and Sis were her influences. But then she meets this guy, and now she's obsessed with what he thinks. Classic mistake. In this way, she began for the first time to form ideas which she had not derived from her family. And they were nonetheless her own because they were often mistaken. So, Irene starts to evolve beyond her family. So now, your job is to create a thesis in which you answer the prompt so that the rest of your essay can prove it to be true. How the author portrays the complex experience of two sisters within their family and society. Got it? Try to finish it before class.